I'm just going to share a little story to begin with. Okay. And this kind of, for me, sparked why we're changing the topic. So people might have thought we were going to talk about something else, but then we decided to go ahead and change the topic. So over the weekend was a pretty strong, powerful shift. And what I mean by that, and I don't know if some of you have experienced this at all or about to, where in your mind, you might have thought, there's so many things changing in this world so fast and very quickly. And what it has been like yesterday, it may not be like today. And what it will be like tomorrow, I don't know. Everything is just changing, as we can tell by what's going on with prices on whether it's food, whether it's gasoline, on and on, other supplies. So I hit a point on Sunday where it almost felt insane how the energy felt, but even in my own mind, just feeling like has there been that much deception? Where is this going? Where are we all going? You know, those moments of just dipping down, having that feeling of insanity. And before the call, I like what Matt shared with me. We can't think our way through this. We have to feel our way through this with heart energy, okay? We using our heart energy to open up. How do we become adaptable with all these changes and breaking out of that feeling? And I called it being almost stuck in the matrix. It was like I popped out of this. I popped out of something, but I let myself feel it. And that feeling from many of my teachers has been about dying to the illusions, dying to the old ways. That doesn't mean you're physically going to die. You might feel like you want to. You know, I was saying, come on, bring it on, bring a big mothership right in my front yard. I'm stepping on this thing, you know, and we got places to go and things to do, and it's not here. Okay. And anyways, I could get pretty dramatic, but the key was I surrendered. I surrendered to, and I really feel like the old ways, whatever that is, you know, and being here now. And when I talked with Ginny that, hey, will you chime in on this with me? Could we, you know, do this class together? And let's talk about the mind, body, spirit of shifting in these times. What are things that can be even more helpful? And we're really, really honored today as well, because Ardo is going to share with us some information on growing your own food. And I heard he's was originally in the Garden of Eden and had many things there he grew. So I'm kind of curious to see what's going on, you know, in his garden, which is pretty cool. But and Ginny is, she's going to share with us, you know, some other ideas too that we could implement and be aware of. So the thing I want to start out by saying is, if you have those moments of you're just going to melt down, so let it melt down. So what? You know, it's better to feel the feeling and just let it die. Whatever that is, let it die. You will be renewed. It will feel refreshed again. We are human beings, okay? And we're raising our vibration. We're raising our awareness of things. And then this is how we're getting out of this matrix, by coming up with positive, exciting solutions with all these opportunities. So, and I was very inspired when Ginny was talking the other day, and maybe Ginny, you want to start out by sharing that too. These are opportunities. All of these are opportunities.
Right. And connecting consciousness had a 5-minute meditation, which that's something you and I went over and said that we want to incorporate with our listeners as well. But it happened to be a day that Ardo was here and we turned everything off. No TV, no sound, nothing. And it was a meditation time in helping to promote the light into the world and disseminate the darkness. And exactly at 5 minutes after the meditation was over, that 5-minute mark, the TV came on all by itself. And I'm so glad he was here, because if I'd have told somebody else that this happened, they'd have said, yeah, right. You know, but then an Amber Alert went off as well. And to me, that was a meaningful event, because it not only meant to me that there possibly was a satellite involvement at that time that connected in with the energies through thousands and hundreds of thousands of individuals that were focused on the positive energy, but also the fact that God could have been giving us a confirmation of what we had just done. And so that was pretty remarkable to be able to go through that and have a witness, that it wasn't just me by myself doing that. And because sometimes I too can be dramatic, but it was as real as it gets. And Arda was just as amazed as I was to hear that TV going, but when neither one of us was anywhere near it. So there are some outside energies that are assisting us. And so whenever we do feel that we're so stressed, I'm such an advocate of grounding. I mean, I'm finding that once a day may not be enough, that you might need to do it twice a day. And I think that has to be for about 20 minutes at a time. People need to check every day, as soon as they wake up, what are you thinking about? What is your positive and negative thought process? Are you thinking something negative as soon as you get up, or are you creating the chaos as soon as you get up? What do I have to do today? I have to do this, I have to do that. And so whatever you are doing as soon as you get up, you're creating for the rest of your day. And so people need to be more conscious of that. And I think that if we get more in touch with how we are feeling, just like Matt said, that we've got to deal with this with our heart energy. Well, that's where God resides within all of us, is in our heart. Remember, we said the mind is Satan's playground. Okay, but God lives in our heart. And so if we get more connected and we feel that connection in our heart, I mean, you will definitely have the capabilities of switching any gear of negativity over to something positive.
And I think staying open to being flexible right now. There isn't anything that consistently will be reliable of what we've known it to be. We have to stay flexible on what are all the possibilities. For example, we were talking, Jenny, how people have to start thinking about, well, maybe running to the store maybe once a week. I'll be planning things differently. Maybe it'll be every 2 weeks. Maybe it'll be once a month. Maybe it'll be a buddy system and we're all going to share the gas. This is what we're going to do. I mean, to be open. For years and years, Jenny, we would have to think about what are other ways we can treat this? What are other ways we can do? I mean, you talk about, you especially being a colon hydrotherapist too, very, very creative, but what do people need to know to keep the bowels moving right now? I mean, a lot of people are getting constipated. They are tightening up. Okay, the lymphatic system, the immune system, why? Because they're having to deal with their most vulnerable issues right now, and so to relax into the healing of things right now, to be able to be open and flexible. All right, what's another way I can do this? What is another way? And that's why we even invited Ardo to join us tonight, because growing our own food or having a community and relationships with people who know how to do things that we don't know how to do, but who are very resourceful, this is paying it forward too. I'm sure you've had, Ardo, years of planting and gardening and doing what you do to be able to share this at this time. I mean, that's a real gift. And be able to, whatever all of our gifts and talents are, that we come together and become more resourceful.
Yeah. So growing your own food, I've been doing my garden for about 20 years. And it's
Can you move the camera on him more? There you go.
Yeah. And my garden is 35 by 35 feet. So it's a fair size. And I have like a dozen cabbage, 6 broccoli, 6 cauliflower, 6 Brussels sprouts. I have about 150 garlic plants, 40 tomato plants, 9 celery plants. I grow red potatoes. I have about 150 different onions. And then I grow lettuce and what else? Green beans, watermelon, cantaloupe, zucchini, peas, and lettuce, carrots, radishes. So I have a lot of good eating. And when you grow your own food, you know what you're getting, because I don't use any pesticides. And if I need to use anything, I'll use the Miracle 2 soap. I'll use a teaspoon to a gallon of water and spray my plants with that if they get infested with any kind of bugs and whatnot. So that takes care of that. But you're getting clean food. Plus, you pick the food when it's ripe. When you buy vegetables and fruit in a store, they are picked before their time. So they'll never taste anything like what you grow yourself. It is so much difference in the taste. And then, so then when you're growing stuff, you have to look out for your seeds or plants to make sure they're not GMO, genetically modified organisms, because their DNA is altered. And I've seen where they have that the insects won't touch it. So if the insects won't eat it, I'm not going to eat it. It can't be any good for you.
So Ardo, you're saying definitely the seeds that are not GMO,
Right.
the insects will not bother it.
If they are
If they are GMO.
They are GMO.
Yeah, then the insects will not bother that food. That's why they do that stuff, to get a better yield and for insect resistance.
They don't usually have seeds, do they? The plant.
Yeah, they don't have seeds either.
can't
A lot of them.
Yeah, tell them that.
So a lot of it can't reproduce themselves. Like I save my seeds from my tomato plants because I grow 2 sauce tomatoes and then a sandwich tomato. But the one tomato, my dad's buddy brought the seeds over from Italy in 1960, and we've been growing them ever since. So I'd save the first nice tomato of the season, And when I cut it open, I have a little strainer. I take the seeds out, put them in there, and I run them under water and just rub them gently with my finger on that mesh to, to wipe off the like jelly that they're in. And after I do that for a couple minutes, I shake them out onto a paper plate and spread them out. And then I set that on top of the refrigerator, let it go for 2 weeks. They dry out. Then I pick them off. They'll be stuck to the paper plate, but I'll pick them loose, put them in an envelope, mark them, and put them in a shoebox, and they'll sit till next spring. So it's easy to save seeds from whatever you like, but they can't be hybrids either, because hybrids, they'll revert back to the parent plants, and you might get a plant, but you might not get any fruit. So I stay away from hybrids. And
So for
then,
people just starting, they're very, first garden, and they want to start after they get off the call or in the next few days or this weekend, what suggestions would you make? Maybe they have a 4 feet by 4 feet. What suggestions would you make?
well, lettuce is fairly easy. And then you could get the onion sets that stores carry. And on the onion sets, if you plant them shallow, like a 1/2 inch deep, they'll grow to be a large onion. But if you plant them like 4 inches deep, that's when you get your green onions, the long, skinny onions. So out of the same onion set, you could get 2 types of onion. So those are pretty easy. And then 1 or 2 tomato plants or 1 or 2 pepper plants.
Mhm.
And it makes it easier to take care of until you get the fill of it. But that's easy stuff. Same with like broccoli, cabbage. Those are cold weather, and you could start them early. I could start some of mine at the end of April. Sometimes I could go in the beginning of April because of the way the weather is anymore. It's so crazy, it's hard to tell.
Does the
Hey,
soil have to be
Bardo,
certain?
can I ask a question?
Sure.
All right. So do you encourage us to like pick up like a farmer's almanac? Because like planting season's like right now. I've started to
Right.
So
Right.
like we want to put a lot of stuff in the ground now if we can, because I think it's just that time of year. I wanted to ask you about your seeds real quick.
Yeah.
I've heard that you can take your seeds, like 20 or 30 seeds, put them under your tongue and just hold them in your mouth for a minute or 2 or 3, and your DNA will absorb into the seeds. And then when you plant the seeds, something happens where, well, I hear that from different things that I've seen, that's the best you can do is when you get your own DNA into the seeds and then grow that food food will have something even extra on a molecular level specific to you.
Oh,
And I
wow.
think that's one of the craziest, coolest things I've tried. So lately, when I've been planting, and my wife's been doing flowers, and I've been doing my different plants, I've been putting the seeds and letting them saturate in my saliva, and I'm trying it. So this is the first time
Yeah.
I've seen them sprout, and I'm just seeing like, well, can we put our own DNA into these seeds? And then the other question I had for you is, are you gardening barefoot, 35 by 35? Are you walking around and letting the negative ions in your feet get into that soil? Because I hear that in the morning, right after we sleep, we're supposed to walk in our gardens because all of that energy from our feet is
Yes.
right there in the oils of the feet. And then you walk in the soil, and then you're putting your DNA into it that way again. Just some
Right.
stuff. I just was like,
Yeah,
finding out.
that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I never heard the thing about the seeds in your mouth, but I'm gonna have to try that next time.
Oh, it's an
For
old trick
sure.
that these guys are using, and then terraforming. I don't know if you're putting your radishes next to your cabbage or seeing that there's a more of a symbiotic relationship between what you're growing next to each other,
Right.
because they're I mean these plants are all talking to each other, and
Yes.
everyone, and there's a lot of biofeedback that they're giving each other and giving us, and I'm so into this, and I just think that, Mom, you're absolutely right. we got to start somewhere. And like, what is the easiest thing for us to just go to Home Depot or Lowe's and put in the ground? And I think I'm hearing from you, tomatoes,
Sure.
peppers,
Peppers,
and onions and cabbage.
onions.
Okay.
Yes.
Garlic.
And
Okay.
then lettuce. But
All right.
yeah, that's the hell I was gonna say now, I forget.
Oh,
Yeah,
this is the fun part of being on Zoom, that you'll lose your focus, especially.
yeah. And
This is good,
So-
Arno. This
okay,
is
so-
so
so-
good.
oh,
It's so
And-
good. So in your garden, have you taken the grass out? Because we all have grass, and grass
oh
is
yeah.
just a water suck. And I know it's pretty, but we really don't need it. And so I'm thinking along in my own backyard, I've got it landscaped and some trees and bushes, but I'm thinking about digging that out and using that now to,
Tell 'em about your pipes.
what would you just start getting some soil, or use what you have already?
I use what I have, but every fall, my neighbor has a really giant maple tree, and I end up covering my whole entire garden with 2 to 3 inches of leaf mulch.
Okay.
And then I'll turn that in the spring. But I use landscaping paper because that's too big of an area to keep weeding all the time.
Right.
And I try to keep the weeds out because they compete with your plants. So yeah,
Water
Question,
pipes.
Ordo, the miracle soap,
yeah.
is that a preventative thing, or do you wait until you see insects on the plant and then use it?
I'll wait till I see insects.
So you put it
Mites.
right on the
Yeah.
plant?
Yeah, you
Let's
spray
talk
'em.
about the
Okay.
water pipes.
And then, okay, for all of my vine plants, the cantaloupe, watermelon, zucchini, cucumbers, I plant them in a mound. But what I do is I have like a 2-inch pipe, and I cap the bottom of it so it doesn't leak, and I drill holes in there, and I plant that. I put that in the center of the mound about 6 inches deep, and then I'll plant my seeds or plants, vine plants, around that. This way, once they start growing and you get that big tangle of plants growing, you got that tube to water, and it goes right to your roots, and you don't have to worry about splashing on your plants and stuff all the time.
You're a mound builder.
Yes.
Oh my
That
goodness.
is great. Well, let's see, we'll give this about 2 more minutes. And then I know Ginny's probably gonna wanna take
Switch
over.
gears.
You know, well, I'm gonna have to get pictures of my garden, and I don't know how for you guys to look at and show you
Mhm.
what I do.
Well, you know what, Ardo, you could take those pictures, either give them to Ginny's phone to forward to me or forward them to me, and Kimberly knows exactly what to
Okay.
do, and we'll put those up. I think
Cool.
that's great.
Okay,
We
We'll do
we
that.
would love to see those pictures.
sure, because then you could see in the beginning and then at harvest time.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah,
So can you tell us about harvest? So like we're in the planning and the growing phase now, and then
right.
well, that's where once we start our gardens, we'll have to start sharing information and figure out when to harvest.
And see, like right now, I'm picking peas and green onions and lettuce. You know, and then like my peas, I grow along my fence so they have something to cling to and grow. Plus, I had to put an 8-foot fence up because I'm having deer problems.
Mhm. And that's a good thing to know, because we have rabbits around here, okay?
Right.
Deer and animals. So this would be really good another time when we have you on, Ardo.
Sure.
What are some of the things, what are the tools people need for their garden? The fencing, what are the actual tools they need? I mean, we're talking about somebody who's just so green at this, but this is the time that we still need to be prepared, right?
Right, right. And when you start picking stuff from your own garden, believe me, you're gonna love it. It's just so much better tasting. Plus, it just makes you feel good.
Mhm.
you know that you did something and you get to eat it. That's my connection to God. That's my gift from God,
Mm.
being able to play out there in that dirt and really get into it.
So everything comes in as a seed, even us.
Yes.
And that's where you make that
Yes.
connection. Yeah.
Right.
That's
beautiful.
great. Ardo, thank you, thank you. Congratulations. No, we appreciate this, and I'd love to have you to share more, even just one Zoom class, just going through all of this. That is so inspiring what you just said, even the connection to God within you from the plants. That is what we talk about, life force energy.
Right.
Okay. And when we're, expanding our own life force energy for our well-being, and this is a good time to kind of lead into this, Jenny, as we were talking about what are different things, people could do to keep lifting that vibration. We were talking about the gratitude, having a hobby. I mean, we still have to have fun. So let's go back to you, Jenny. Ideas on some of these.
Well, like you said, the hobbies that maybe we once had that we've gotten so busy in our life that we've pushed aside, bringing them back into the forefront again and being able to, work with that, because most of the time the hobbies is a form of creation. You're creating something most of the time, even if you're just a hobby in reading a book. The book may portray one image, but you may be creating your own image, which is something entirely different. But putting yourself into having that hobby, reading a good book, just getting your mind preoccupied into another arena rather than allowing your energies in your mind to become wrapped up in the chaos, and keeping the televisions turned off and that kind of stuff. You sometimes on the computers and just listening to a bunch of negative things is exactly what that darkness wants us to do. And you've got to do just the opposite of it. And being with people that are positive instead of individuals that seem to always grasp for the most negative things to say or things to do. Put yourself in the company of individuals that are wanting to find, I want to say, more positive things out of life every day, not just receiving them, but creating them for each other. And we're doing this walk not alone, but if we could just all join hands together, and every person that is positive, it would be amazing the energy that we would be able to emit from just a group of 10 people by just thinking positive. And I just can't say enough, and I probably sound like a broken record, but I mean, anybody here will tell you there's probably another individual that comes to our monthly meetings, and if he's not saying it, I'm saying it, vice versa. But I cannot stress grounding enough to you, because it is our connection with Earth. It is our connection. Not everybody's going to have a garden. Not everybody, well, most people, even if they cut their grass, they're not going to do it in their bare feet, So just making sure that you get those feet on Mother Earth. And I've told you several times that the earth is vibrating at different frequencies. Now, I know Matt has a unique energy that he's able to tap into a lot of different things that a lot of men can't, because men are electric and women are magnetic. And you do get some of the men who have the capabilities of tapping into the magnetics of the earth. And Ardo and I were walking, I have a fairly large piece of property, and I said, take notice when you're walking, you can feel different parts of the ground is warmer than other places. And there was electric underneath of the ground where it was warmer. But then he said he never took notice. And see, that's what we stop. We don't stop and take notice to the different things that are underneath of our feet or standing in front of us or next to us. There's so much right now for us to discover. And it is, it's moving quickly that if we don't take notice now, we might miss it, because there's no guarantee it's going to be there tomorrow or the next day, because things are facilitating at such a rapid pace that it's almost like we've pushed it back aside and didn't allow it to surface. And now that it's being permitted to start surfacing, it just wants to flood the gates. And that's kind of like where you want to be. You want to be in the midst of it, but you don't want to miss any of it either.
Mhm.
So I would say, just in keeping everybody kind, be kind to one another. If somebody doesn't want to be kind to you, then rather than having an argument or disagreement, you're better off just to walk away, because it is, you don't play in that negative ball field. If they can't play in your ball field of all this positive energy and love and kindness and everything, then they're not playing my ball game. I'm not going to play with them. You see?
That's good.
And
Yeah.
I think it will, through osmosis, just move away. It's just going to move away. And it just won't be around. And Matt, before the class, we were talking about where you said the word truth, love, and goodness. And you said something about just loving love. And that reminded me one time I was in a lecture and I heard trust. Like someone said, how do you trust? Well, then just trust, and these are the times for us to have the faith and the vision of what we really want to see. Okay. What do we want to create? What do we want this world to look like? And I was thinking of this, going into the grocery store or market, wherever you go and you see the shelves are changing and this and that. And there could be this, for many times I'd have this sick feeling of, oh man, I will not do that now. I won't do that. I create the feelings and the thoughts I want to have on a higher vibration. And that has made a difference of how, I go in and out of a place right now or whatever it is. And I like, Jenny, what you were saying is we need to continue to create the most positive out of every opportunity, because it is changing so much that way. But yet, oh my gosh, this is such a powerful time to create. And when you were talking about that 5-minute meditation, I wouldn't mind if you could briefly explain the importance of it. And I'd really like to do it collectively, all of us, for just 5 minutes.
Sure. And so the way that it had kind of been instructed to us is, and this is what my take was on it. So I'm going to share what I imagined. And what it is to disperse the negativity, any of the darkness. And supposedly the darkness cannot just be snapped away. It's not supposed to be eliminated that way. It's supposed to be a dissolving effect. So I imagined a huge football stadium, probably larger than a football stadium. And I imagined a group of just every negative person that could possibly fit in that stadium, whether it be in the seats and on the ground, everywhere. They were covered everywhere. And then I put a big black cube of negativity in the center of all of them. And then I meditated on this, bringing white light shining on this black cube slowly dissolving it. And as it was dissolving, all of that negativity was being eliminated from these individuals. And we did that for 5 minutes, and you would actually, with your eyes closed, you could see the darkness leaving. You could see it fading in and out. And even my sister, who really has like absolutely no metaphysical cell in her body, she was doing this with me. I asked her to do this, and she was able to see that darkness moving in and out, slowly dissolving. So I knew if she got it, the rest of us definitely were going to get it. But I think that if we did something like that as a group, the effects of it can be tremendous. And if we could establish a day and a certain time, and all of us do this together, because God says in the Bible, if 2 or more says the same prayer at the same time, that he can't help but hear us. Okay, so I think that if we could do that exercise, if you pick a day, I just think, sometime after lunch, but before supper might be a good time for the majority of people on a non-work day.
Mhm. I think that's a good idea.
Mhm.
So we could, and I know the people that I could reach just being on the call, and then we could come up with the time that, seeing if that would work.
Sure.
Hey, Jenny, this black stone, is this
Yes.
kind of like the black stone in Kaaba, the
It
Grand
could
Mosque
be.
in Mecca?
Yeah,
It's kind of
and
like,
yes,
mhm.
absolutely. Yeah.
I'm loving this. So this is like a mastermind session where we're gonna manifest and use our semiconductors, our heart, and
Right.
come together and focus on the same thing in unity. Now, whoa, this is it.
Yeah. Powerful.
Powerful.
Powerful. Yeah.
So my question is, do we want to set that intention, even do 5 minutes now?
Do you have it?
Do we have 5 minutes to do this?
Yes, we do.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. So do you have the square black?
You're imagining this. You're imagining
Okay.
this. Okay.
I
Mhm.
thought you were going to bring something in.
Well, I have, it's a shungite, but the shungite helps to disseminate. We need to exercise our own capabilities this time.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So you tell us what to do.
Okay, so we're going to do exactly what I had said. We're going to just place ourselves at the head of this arena that is filled with nothing but individuals that are filled with negativity, pessimist, it doesn't matter, but they are not walking in the light. These individuals will slowly get to see the light, because we will gradually dissolve the darkness that sits above them. And this will happen gradually over the next 5 minutes.
I think that was amazing.
Judy, I have to add something to this, only because I'm being told to do this.
Sure.
When you hold your hands together, like you're praying, the prayer is for you. But if you open the top, just the top, keep your palms together at the bottom, and if you open the tops, that prayer goes out to others.
Wow.
Closed is a prayer for you, open is a prayer for others. So if next time, whenever we do this, we open that up,
Mm.
that darkness will go even more powerful because we're in prayer formation. Okay, so we just need to add that to that.
Oh, I love that, Ginny. That is so great. This has really been good.
So did anybody see the light in the dark?
Oh, I could definitely feel it. No
Yeah.
doubt about it.
Yeah. Did you?
Oh, darkness.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. Pretty good.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi, Judy. I had a really interesting thing because not just the darkness from the people, but I also was feeling a lot of people that were on a very low emotional vibration. So more like a suffering type thing. So that was kind of interesting too for me.
Mhm.
So it helps on really every level of vibration.
Right.
This was so good.
Yeah, I think we wanted to just go over, Ardo was talking about the food,
Yes.
and whenever you were saying about how people are feeling stuck.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, that's kind of it seems like the earth is in that gear right now of feeling stuck. It really isn't, but it's up to us to keep that movement in motion. Okay, but good nutrition is absolutely going to be the basis for us to be able to make it an easier trip through this whole thing. But people need to make sure that they're drinking plenty of water, good water. If water ever becomes an issue for people, everybody needs to know about the Berkey water filters, because you could even go down to the river and take the water out of the river, and the Berkey will clean the river water so that it's very good drinking water. And then, talking about getting stuck, I see that coming into the shop. And this is all the more reason why the body needs, the more alkaline that the body can become, the less stuck and the less often it gets stuck will happen. And that's where I really think the greens, like, I take Pure Green every single morning, no matter what. It's just a part of my daily ritual. And I think that the Pure Green helps to bring that alkalinity into the system. And those that are still having that stuck issue, the potty toddy, the Pure Cleanse, I mean, we really need to keep the bowels moving.
Mm-hmm.
Jenny, can I ask you about water for a moment?
Sure.
I've been following Santos Bonocci's work, and he really is big on water needing to be structured. And so he suggests taking your water, drinking it from glass if you can, but if it's not, then metal, not plastic, because it's going to get that petroleum. It's going to get, well, how am I trying to say that? The leakage from the petroleum plastic, it goes right into the water. And so what he says to do is spin it around 72 times. If you can get that spiral, and then you can help structure the water. And then he says, sip the water. Don't drink it. Don't chug it, because if you chug it, you're not allowing your saliva to mix correctly with the water. And so, like, there's a whole science to water that I really want to get into more with you. But, like, does that resonate with the structuring water?
Right.
Or-
Okay. So if you think about water, I don't care what brand of water it is. I don't care how much you filter the water. I have a
Right.
Tyant water filtration system that produces alkaline water on spot, because alkaline water can only stay alkaline in bottles for 72 hours. It is no longer alkaline. Okay. The other thing is every single bit of water has been exposed to chemicals.
Right.
Okay. I mean, we're talking chemicals that are disposed of in the hospitals, things that are flushed down your toilet. Okay. Your water has memory.
Right.
Okay. So there is memory in your water.
And all the right angles that it hits to come through before it comes out of our tap, it's wrecking the structure of it.
It is. Now there is a product out which is called BioVitale,
Okay.
Biovitale, and it can restructure the water so it is neutral.
Yes.
Okay. And here's the thing, if that water has been a part of, let's say somebody drank it that had chemotherapy and was suffering, the water also has memory.
Yes.
The water has the memory of the disease. So you not only pass off the components of DNA, but you are passing off the memory of that DNA.
Yes.
Okay. So whenever you're talking about the water, you can also get the same effect. Instead of the 72 shake, you can do the same thing with a whisk, and you're going
Yes.
between your hands. You can do the same thing much faster.
Because when we just chug water, we're actually depleting the body of the minerals because it's coming through too fast.
Yeah, well, your body can only utilize 2 to 3 ounces of water at a time. The
Right.
rest of it gets flushed through the system.
Okay.
Okay, but for hydration purposes and the other necessary things that need to be done with the water, you can only get that and achieve that through 2 to 3 ounces of drinking water at a time.
Are you doing anything with moon water?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
See, there we go. That's structured water that we could be, because I think eight glasses a day, that's so much water that they're telling us. And I think what we're doing is just, I don't want to use the word raping, but just the body of its minerals. It's just, we're everything is too much. And so I think you're right to slow it down, bring some
Right.
structure back to the water with the whisk,
Right.
and then maybe even moon water. And how are you using your moon water?
Well, here's an interesting thing. Your mom has something from a company, and it's called Wings.
Okay.
Okay. And the Wings, if you put this in your, let's say, alkaline water, and you set it out for the 72 hours, the day before the full moon, and the day after the full moon, it's
Yep.
unbelievable what you've just created
Yep.
in that water. Yeah.
You're on
And you
it.
can't get it any other time of the month. And there's certain things I can't say. I can have a conversation with you, but there's some things that water will do phenomenal things to the human body.
It's all about water, and that ties right back to the energy. And like they even weigh us when we die. They can weigh the 4 to 5 ounces of water vapor that leaves the body. The soul. This is amazing. Thank you for validating. And I
Yeah.
think the water is just as important as walking barefoot in our garden.
Right.
Yes.
I wanted to see if Ardo knows anything about this. So I saw a video of a guy who is drilling a shallow well, but he has a couple tools that he could drill down 5 feet and hit water, or what would depend on the sea level, but you can get water. Let's say if there isn't water available, there are people in certain situations that may not be able to go up to the Rocky Mountains and get their water, right? Or they might not, they're pretty far away from water. Have you ever heard of doing that?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I
I'll
haven't.
send
Yeah.
Ginny some information on this. I'd love for you to check it out and see what you think.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, I just love, this is so great. I love all the information we're sharing and we're talking about, because this is life. Okay, this isn't, I mean, being able to open ourselves up and learn more of all the things you could do from dandelions in your yard, you know, all the things you could do with the mullein that's found. We have so much mullein
Yeah.
around here, you know, how helpful that is. And it's great if you don't have toilet paper. Mullein leaves are great, you know, there's just, nature provides, right? We have
Right.
everything we need around us, and we could share among each other. And I just want to thank everybody for getting on the call tonight and sharing. I know we haven't done an educational Zoom meeting in quite a while, but Ginny, I thank you for joining in, bringing Linda and Arda here, and everybody else who's joined us. I just want to thank you, and we're gonna and that's why the title kind of, we're going from survival to thriving. This isn't just survival. Are you kidding?
Right.
On a deeper level, on so many levels, we're learning, you know, the thriving, and there's a lot of abundance with that comes.
We still need to pick a day and a time that we all are going to remember to help. Yeah, so I don't know how you're going to approach that. How do you want to get that
Could we do
information
it
together
Sunday?
for everybody?
What, could we all agree to a time, like
What works for everybody?
Mhm.
I work on Saturday, so Saturday's hard for me.
What about like Sunday at 8 o'clock, which is 10 o'clock your time, or 7 o'clock here, 9 o'clock?
Opposed to the afternoon? Or are you talking morning?
Morning?
Oh, okay.
Could how would that work? 8 o'clock Mountain Standard Time.
Okay, so that's 10 o'clock
Nancy,
my time.
yeah, Nancy, it would be 7 o'clock, right? Your time, Sunday. So I could follow up with her on that too. So
Okay,
what if we do 8 o'clock Sunday?
that's
Mountain
Mountain
Standard.
Standard, so that
Okay.
10 o'clock
10
our
o'clock,
time.
yeah.
That
That's fine.
works for me on
Yeah.
a Sunday.
Starting when?
Sunday.
The
Sunday.
Sunday.
Uh-huh.
We'll do it this Sunday.
Yeah, every Sunday.
All right, we'll get started, and we'll do a few in a row and see how it goes.
Yeah, sounds great.
Good.
Thank you for leading us through that meditation. That was really incredible. Thank you.
It really
Sure.
was. This was good. Thank you,
was-
everybody, for chiming in, and
All
have
right.
a great, wonderful evening. And
You too.
thanks for organizing everything here too, Kimberly. You do a great job all the time.
She does.
Yes. Thank you. Okay.
Okay,
See you,
Bye-bye.
Judy.
bye.
Bye.